Hello, everybody, and welcome to the JK podcast. I hope you're having a good day, start to your day. It's been a little while. I think it's been about maybe a week and a half since our last episode. And hey, look at this, the first official video podcast of ours. So I hope you guys are excited to listen to this, watch it for the first time. Today, we have a very exciting guest. We are here with Mason Kuhr, who is a TikTok influencer and influencer in general with 520,000 followers, documenting his self-improvement journey. Mason, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, brother. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on. I've seen your content on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. I've always loved it because I love to see different content creators and different people just share their story. And it's just an amazing experience to see people who go through certain experiences, certain events, and they get to share that for other people to learn. I'm interested, what kind of started your self improvement journey?
Yeah, so in college, I went to college to play football. And after my freshman year, up to that point, football and sports had really been my entire identity. And so after that first year, there were kind of some culture and value issues that I didn't align with. And so basically, my entire identity up until that point had just come to an end in one day. Ended up
Mm,
leaving the team, stayed around at school, but I kind of found myself in this ego death situation. It was like an identity crisis, and so that put me down this like little spiral for a few years. I had no idea what I was doing, had no idea what my purpose was. Didn't know who I was. Ended up going through a breakup because I just had so much self hatred, taking it out on the world, all types of stuff. Um, but I ended up getting overweight. My mind was out of my control, had no sense of spirituality. And so, after like about a year and a half, 2 years of that, I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, there's there's just got to be more to life than this. There's got to be a reason I'm here. There has to be some bigger purpose. And so, trying to figure out what that was after just all that time sitting in basically my room thinking about, why am I here? Just self-loathing, reading some books, trying to get answers. I decided, the first thing I can do is after looking in the mirror, I need to get in shape. So I didn't like the way I looked, so I was like, you know what, let's at least change that. So I just started this fitness journey, going down that rabbit hole into fitness, nutrition, ended up in meditation. But basically, this whole self improvement journey, which each step of it just kind of expands your awareness to a new level. And so basically, my whole following and my message and mission, what I'm sharing is helping people find purpose in themselves and what I call self actualization, becoming the best version of themselves. And it starts by taking care of you. Because when you take care of you and add value to yourself, you can then add value to the world. And so basically, that's what my entire journey has been, especially on social media. That I started it right at the beginning. Um, so, just growing myself up, eventually turning that into a business where I was able to, self actualization in us, we hit a point, right? We hit this point in the pyramid where it's like there's only so much you can become in a certain amount of time. And from there, you want to flip it and you want to transcend. So that's where we create things like, for example, your podcast here, or my business, whatever it is, right? And so you use this act of self improvement to tap into who you are, what really energizes you, get yourself that discipline, the mindset that you need to create, and then create something that allows you to expand outside of yourself and give yourself to the world. And that's what creates fulfillment.
hmm I totally agree. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are kind of waiting for that point in their lives, something, significant to happen, something that's kind of out of their control.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've realized. People are just waiting for a moment like that. People are just waiting for someone to just help them. And I think people are, some people are starting to realize, but there's still a lot of people that aren't in that kind of generalization where they're the person that needs to pick themselves up. And there's not really much people out there that could really help them. Um, it's unfortunate to see. There's always mentors that you could have. For me, my story, it's not really anything crazy. I didn't go through a ton of stuff, but it took me to kind of a tipping point in a way, where I changed my life completely from what it used to be. For me, I would be drinking 4 Cokes a day. I was unhealthy. I barely drank any water. Video games 24/7. I played sports, but I wasn't really involved. And now that I look back at my life, what I did, I'm like, damn, why did I waste my time doing that? I could have done so much more. I mean, with your experience, would you relate to that?
Yeah, I'd say that most people, here's the reality is every single person on earth is programmed from the day they're born. We're
Yeah.
programmed to think a certain way, act a certain way, and we absorb all these beliefs from our parents and our environment and all this stuff. It's not actually us at an innate level. And so our entire life, basically, we're being determined from the outside who we are, and we ask permission to be ourselves. We ask permission to do things. And so most people are looking for that like external authority. And it's like, even with spirituality, most people look to God, right? As this creator that's going to save us. But in reality, we're made in the image of God. We can save ourselves if we just realize that God's within us, right? And so most people are looking outside, as you said, this external locus of control is what it's called. And when you shift that awareness to an internal locus of control, realizing that I am the creator, that's when you really start to shift. And we hear all these woo-woo terms like spiritual awakening. That's what a spiritual awakening really is. It's realizing that everything stems from you and your spirit and your decisions. That drives everything. And so that's why I push like the fitness and the nutrition first, because those are the most easy and accessible to change. And it's like once you change that, you start feeling really good. You go, what else am I missing out on?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree completely. I'm wondering, I have my own habits that I carry. I would say good habits. I've eliminated some bad habits. I'll maybe touch the games maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, and maybe for
Mm-hmm.
at least 30 minutes. That has changed completely. And I think that a lot of people are looking for good habits to follow. You mentioned fitness. That's something I try to do on the regular. I'll wake up at 4 in the morning and I'll just go to the gym, and it sucks. I'll hate it waking up. I'm like, oh, I could sleep. It'd be nice to get a little bit of maybe an hour of sleep. But once you get down there and you finally start doing it, it feels so much better. I'm wondering, what are some other habits or habits that you would recommend to people trying to start their self-improvement journey?
So you want to start slow, right? Because most people they'll just like they will nuke habits and just try and stack so many at once. And what happens is after a week, you lose that motivation and it falls off. Because what we need to do is we actually need to rewire our subconscious mind. And it's this physical process. Like you're actually making new neural pathways. And so choose one simple thing. Like if you're getting up too late, just go back an hour. Start waking up 1 hour earlier and not pressing the snooze, right? And so what that's going to do is you're lighting that little spark of willpower and discipline. And so once you start doing that for a week, maybe add in some water, like 2 glasses of water as soon as you wake up. Add that in. So that starts to build up. That starts to become you, right? And then more than anything, you're just working this little muscle of discipline. So start adding these small habits in. Maybe cut one snack. If you're eating like crap, just cut one snack out. Stop buying it. Don't even have it in the environment, right? And so replace that with like a glass of water, something, but just go one thing at a time. Obviously I say the fitness and nutrition route first. So it's like I say do 20 push-ups a day, right? If you're not doing any fitness, most people think they have to go hit the gym and just boom balls to the walls immediately. Like start just doing some push-ups. Get used to that, right? Because when you make that a part of you, you start telling yourself that you have this identity of someone who does work out every single day. And it's not like you're lying to yourself, right? It's true, you do. It's just you're not yet at the levels you want to be. But that's fine. We want to take it like a staircase that's progressive. So the thing that you want, write down what the most important thing is to you right now, in terms of like self improvement. Once you get clear on that, kind of backtrack and start with the most like base fundamental habit that you can create that will eventually lead you there. And if you follow this stair step that you've created, it will eventually take you to where you want to go. You're not going to get there overnight. There's a lot of people who will promote that and give you this false message, but it's just not reality because a change of identity is, like I said, this physical process. So start with one small habit that aligns to where you want to go and just stack it up, right? Just make them solidified, stand on that step, and go up to the next one.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. For me, when I started, I mainly kind of jumped into it in a fairly fast motion.
Yeah.
I didn't have a gym to go to, and I was a little worried about like actually going to a public gym. So I just worked out
Mm-hmm.
at home, did a ton of push-ups, basic stuff, sit-ups, everything, to kind of, get into a fitness realm, to kind of just tell my body and kind of relax it into it. Um, I didn't just start waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym because one, I wasn't really motivated to do it at that time, but I could have, or I kind of avoided doing it because it would just be way too fast to just jump into that. So I think that's something a lot of people need to do. You'll see a ton of influencers that have millions of dollars and they're like 19, 20. And people like me or other people will see that and they'll be like, I'm missing out. I'm not doing this. I'm doing something wrong. And sure, those people have succeeded a lot, but it's a very patient process. And people think that you can just do that the next day, but it doesn't work like that at all.
No, no, and that's the thing. Is like a lot of those people you see being young, they haven't been in the game that long. And so, they may be good, they may be getting these results very quickly, but they spend it and they lose a lot of it fast too. Right? I see it all the time. And so it's like unless you're really building up those fundamental habits of, financial knowledge and education, it's like, you can be a drop shipper, you can be a marketer, you can do whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, you want to build a solid base that allows you to create a legacy down the line. So like a lot of this flex culture stuff, it's a bunch of BS. And it's promoting this message that it's like you can do it overnight. And it's like, sure, you may get lucky and some TikTok may pop off where you sell this drop shipping product out in a single video. It's happened to me, right? But it's like, okay, well, now what? You still have no solid base. And so again, yeah, you want to build up those habits and the routines and all the discipline that's underlying because that's also where knowledge comes. Knowledge comes from doing it so many times that know, right? And so that comes from repetition. And if you do it in one shot, you don't really learn anything. You just got lucky. And that's just how it works.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of luck involved with it. Um, but there's also, a very small majority of people that have worked really hard to get there. And
Mm-hmm.
and to those people that we're talking to here, if you want to become incredibly rich by the age of 20, hell, I want to too. I mean, that's I think yeah, that's everyone's dream. But you have to be patient with it, and that's kind of a big message that I want to deliver. With this podcast, started a couple months ago. Um, we're talking to amazing people already. This is a dream come true for me to spread a message and have other people provide information. For your business, it didn't just happen overnight. I'm wondering how long did it take you to start your, finance and your business?
Yes, yes. That's the thing that most people don't understand is like I had a massive I had one day in December last year where not 2022, 2021 where finally like one video sold out my entire store. And no one knows about like the 9 months that led up to that where I had zero sales and also my 4 years ahead of that in the e-commerce space. Two of which I was banned off of Facebook ads and so I was trying to figure out other ways to do things. And so that's really what makes it, and that's what allows you to have those. I don't believe in luck. I believe in creating luck, and I call it serendipity. where you're creating situations that allow yourself to be quote unquote lucky. And so it's like, I put a lot of time and knowledge into developing the skill and marketing and communication. People think, we'll just use drop shipping, for example. They think that you can just put a product on there, sell all this stuff. No, there's so many skills that go into it. You got marketing, you got messaging, you got branding, you got knowing how to run ads, create content, create a hook within the content, using sales, persuasion. It's like this takes years of development. There's a lot of things that go into it. And what happens is you finally have that moment and they go, oh, he's lucky. Yeah, sure. I was lucky to you. But to me, I know what I went through.
Hmm.
Right. And so like that's the most important thing. But it's like be very, very, very patient with it. And if you want to build a solid foundation, it always starts with you. Um, the one thing I would give advice to anyone who's like getting into entrepreneurship or building something is don't even look at your result. What you want to focus on is creating your habits. So it's like, are you creating your daily habits that allow you to go up that staircase that we're talking about and turn into that person, right? So it's like if you're making $10 a day, you want to make like $1 million a year. What are the habits that that person has? It's like, well, they wouldn't be sitting scrolling TikTok for 4 hours a day. So it's like while you go up this thing, maybe reduce it to like three, and then two, and then one, and then ideally like none. You don't want to scroll at all. But yeah, unless you're watching me, of course.
Yeah. For me, I'm I have my own challenges, especially nowadays, um, much less challenges than I did before. But, everyone still has challenges that they face. Um, for me it's social media completely. I will find it's weird because I will just be sitting there because I'll contact people for podcast interviews and for social media stuff through social media apps, so Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and etc. And once I'm doing that, I'm doing work on it, and then I just go, oh, Instagram Reels, and then I just start watching that for 30 minutes, and I'm like, wait, what does this happen? I just wasted 30 minutes. It's weird. It's so weird. It's like it captures you. It just puts your brain in autopilot in a way. And that's a problem. That's a challenge I'm trying to overcome. Another thing is just discipline. Um, discipline is so difficult to control and to have. Complacency and temptations will really, really push you to kind of break that discipline. For me, I'll take cold showers in the morning, and I'll just be procrastinating like before I get in because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this at all. But yeah, I mean, I have my challenges. What are some challenges you would say that you face now or have faced in the past?
I'd say, I mean, it's the same. Like we all want to avoid pain, right? So it's like we all kind of experience the same things. You get the social media thing, and I do cold showers too. I don't want to do it, right? But it's like the way you start to build yourself and become the person you want to be all stems, and this is what I teach that's different than everybody else, because my stuff is backed by universal law and nobody can argue with it. It's the foundations of the Bible, it's the foundations of the Quran, the Torah, the Kabbalion. Every single spiritual text is backed by these laws. And this is how I operate my life. And when you live by them, you live in abundance and you can use them to control your mind. But it all stems back to awareness, right? And so it's like the more aware you become, the faster you can catch yourself going backwards. The shorter the amount of time that you can take between thought and action, right? Because awareness is your ability to transcend your thoughts. And so, I do it too, but I meditate, right? And so, like, awareness is a muscle at the end of the day. Do you meditate?
Yeah, I do.
How long do you do it normally?
15 minutes about.
Every single day?
Some days I'll miss, but most of the time.
Yeah. And so, I'd say that's the one habit that allows you to do it because once you expand that awareness, and a book that everybody should read is called The Warrior's Meditation by Richard L. Haidt. Really good. But it's an active form of meditation. I'm even doing it right now. And so what happens is you're able to almost think of it like this, right? There's an an inner screen, we'll call it, and an outer screen. So it's like I can see you, but I can also see myself at the same time. And this is really where you want to live, is like this middle ground of awareness. And so it's like I can monitor what's coming into my mind, the thoughts I'm having, what's being spoken, and I can also witness the world around me. And so it's just this active form of meditation where you're constantly awareness of your thoughts. And so you think, "Oh, I don't want to do this." You're watching yourself and you say, "Why am I saying this right now?" And then you can align your body and your intention in a different way, right? So it's like you said you procrastinate for however long on the shower. It's like I'll do the same thing, Jackson. Like I'll look at a cold shower and be like, I do not want to do this shit. I don't. But you know what? You just dive into it, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's yeah, that's
completely.
really it. It's just forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah, it's really difficult to kind of get over that point. But like I mentioned before, once you start doing it, it's like immediately gone. You're just like, oh, okay, well, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. That's how it was for me getting to the gym. I was super nervous going in because I'm like, I'm gonna be lifting maybe just the bar, and I'm not gonna be doing much. And I was nervous about how other people would look at me for that, and eventually I broke that ice. It's kind of an icebreaker. Eventually, you just kind of break through, and you're like, okay, this is regular for me. This is something that I do on the daily, and it just becomes common for you. I think a lot of people should really try to familiarize themselves with uncomfortable things, because that will really help them build mental strength and so much more, and try to stay consistent with it completely.
Dude, 100%. I mean, every time if you're scared of something, all I can say is lean into it and just and do it, because fear is just an indicator that your ego is trying, which your ego is just your perception of yourself, right? So it's like every time you fear something, that's your ego saying, "No, don't kill me," because you have to kill the ego to move on. And it's like you're never going to get rid of your ego. You're just going to develop a new one, right? So people say kill the ego. That doesn't happen. You just create a new ego, a new perception of yourself. And so as you lean into this fear, it's funny how every time we do it, we unlock some superpower. We unlock some like new belief or perception of ourselves, and we feel good every single time. And so it's like when you're in that situation, just remember, when was the last time I was scared and did something and felt good overcoming it? Literally every time, right? And so once you do that, once you start leaning into your fears, that's when your life really does change, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, completely. It's yeah, once you just kind of get into it, it's a much better feeling. For me, another thing is um, once I do stuff, once I do, cold showers, etc., gym, all that, I'll usually, because it's a good thing, I've heard people say it's a good thing, if you use a ton of your time throughout your day that you don't really have much else to do, and you just kind of go to bed after that. Like for me, I'll go home, um, gym, all this stuff, study, blah blah blah, because I come back from school and all that, and I barely have any time to do anything at all. Like by anything I mean, just like relaxing or resting or just watching TV or whatever. I'm interested. How do you kind of prioritize your time in your schedule?
Well, so really just narrow down what like the top three things for are for you every single day, right? So it's like for me, I know there's certain business objectives that I want to take care of. It's not need to. It's also that too is remember to like be conscious of the language you use, because that tells us all the story. But there's a few business objectives every single day that I know I want to accomplish. So you just write those down and make those the only priority. Don't let like more things stack up. And that's where it's also good to learn how to like set boundaries. It's like you'll have something come up, be like, "Oh, you got to do this." No, I'm only doing these three things today. You nail those, you get a dopamine rush, you get that feeling of success and an accomplishment. So that gives you more confidence, more competence, and you can continue to keep going. But um, yeah, I mean, with like time management, block out distractions as much as you can. My phone's in another room right now, like it's not even near me. Um, so get that away from you. Like when I'm in bed, I charge my phone in another room. Um, I don't even allow myself to mess up. And so,
Mm.
really, at the end of the day, it's all environment design. It's designing your environment in a way that does not allow you to fail. And that's not only the food you eat, it's your technology, it's the people around you. And so it's like I cut out, I hate to say it, I mean, like one of my best friends from school, he sends me these reels of nothing every single day, just stupid shit. And I muted him because I was like, I'm not, I don't want to even look at it because it messes up your flow. And so you really want to just like design your whole environment in a way that minimizes all those distractions. And it's like if you're having issues with food, for example, like you distract yourself by binge eating. That was a huge one for me. I'd go snack like when I felt like I had to do something. I got hungry out of nowhere, and I'd go eat. Right?
Yeah.
And so setting up your environment in a way where you can't mess up means don't buy that while you're in the store. Have the awareness to not buy that snack. It's like, oh, back when I started, I loved chips. I haven't had chips in so long just because like it's like pointless to me. But at the beginning, I loved chips, right? And they were always there. And so instead of messing up, I just wouldn't buy them at the store. So I open up my pantry and oh, they're not there. Guess I gotta drink some water instead, right? And so it's like if you force your environment to make you mold to the person you want to become, that changes everything. And that's why people are so important. That's why they say you are the average of the five people you spend your time with because you literally do. You have no other option but to conform to the environment, right? And that's just human nature. Like we are the cause, but the world around us also reflects who we are. So set up your environment in a way that's aligned to the person that you want to be, and you'll become that person. It's that simple.
Mm. Yeah, for me, um, when I came back, because I recently moved, maybe about a year now, from Lake Tahoe to Utah, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a difficult change because I had to go to new school. I had to go to new. I've been to Utah before. I was born here, so I had some friends out here, which was good. And I was it kind of created new challenges, but it eliminated a ton of other challenges I used to have. If I was still in Tahoe, I would not be the same person as I am today at all because I'm in that environment where I'm familiar with doing the habits and the activities that I usually did, and that's drinking cokes and all that stuff. But yeah, now that I moved here, it was a difficult change because now I have difficulties with starting off with school. Different school. The school that I went to was much easier. All these different challenges will approach, but a lot of other obstacles are eliminated and changed me completely. So I totally agree. If you change your environment, if you change the people that you're with, if you change the items or the objects or whatever is inside your room, um, it changes completely. For me, I clean my room, and I never used to do that. My room was a mess all the time, and I think that's a big start for people. If you clean your room and make your room look presentable, it's immediately going to change you.
Dude, 100%. Like, I have nothing around me that can even distract me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a guitar, but I use that for creativity. But it's like, yeah, I mean, if cleaning your room, a dirty room is just a direct indicator of like a dirty mind, basically. And so it's funny how everything reflects. And like I said, I talk a lot about these universal laws. One of them is called the law of correspondence, as above, so below, if you've heard of it. But basically, it's saying we are the universe and the universe is us, right? And so it's like I can look at any single person on Earth, the environment they live in, I can tell you what is going on in their mind, with like to a T, every single time. And if I hear someone converse with me and they're chaotic, I'll be like, okay, I know how this person lives, right? And so it's a foolproof way. Like if you also want to understand people, like remember that. Um, just the way people speak, think, act, it determines their environment, and vice versa. The way they live determines who they are. So you can figure out most people you want to hang out with by those two things.
Hmm. Yeah. For me, the people that I hang out with has changed completely. Um, I used to hang out with a lot of other people that were just not really kind of the person I am today. For past me, I probably would have hanged out with them and loved them. But
Mm-hmm.
for the person I am today, it's a total different scene, total different person to kind of interact with, and it's
Yeah, and you're
real.
how old? How old are you?
16 or 17 now,
Oh,
17.
oh, you were young, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a little, yeah.
yeah,
People
you're
people
way
some
more, you're more mature for sure.
Yeah, like some people I'll talk to, they'll be like because I'm audio, it used to be audio based, so they'll be like, "Oh, how old are you? 19, 21?" I was like, "No." Not at all. But yeah, in certain age ranges it's totally different either. Certain generations as well. Something I've realized is my generation, there's a lot of really good motivated people out there, but there's also a lot of really, I don't want to say lost, but kind of just out of place in a way. Don't really know what they're kind of going to pursue. Don't really have many passions or goals in their life. They're just
Mhm.
there, existing.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's true, man. It's the number one pandemic in the world is a lack of purpose, right? And so it's like that's where self improvement fixes everything. And I have this whole purpose formula down to a science. I have it to a T, right? And so it starts again. Get your nutrition on lock because when you're aware of what you eat as a byproduct, you become aware of yourself. And until you're aware of yourself, you're just going to be a wanderer. You're going to be drifting through the wind, doing nothing, and just a product of your environment without even knowing why, right? And so you need that awareness. And so that's why everyone loves food. Like anyone who doesn't like food is dead, right? So we can agree that food is the best way to do so because every single person needs it. And so we start with the nutrition, we gain awareness of ourselves, we move into the fitness, right? Because we've gotten a little bit of willpower. You get that, oh man, I'm fit. Why am I not getting the body yet I want? Maybe it's something in my mind. And all of a sudden we catch ourselves at the mind. Once you get the mind, again, you end up wanting to change some of the beliefs that you have. Oh, let's begin meditating. Let's get into the spirit. And so once you hit spirit, you've hit this peak point of self actualization, right? And so it's like you get that awareness, you can now start picking up on what energizes me. Like I realized that for such a long time, I was making videos and videos and videos, and I was I kept asking, what's my purpose? What do I love to do? This and that. And you just look right in the mirror because now you have a mirror, awareness, and it's like, oh, I love making videos. So for me, I started making TikToks about what I was doing, and it fueled me. It energized me, and that's what takes you to the next level. Is like you get that awareness, and you can pick up on what energizes you. You double down on it. You commit to it, and like when you get that awareness, I'd say look at the things that you just do all the time anyway that are actually like creative or how you express yourself. Double down on that. Like I was making videos as a way to document myself and just express myself into a form of art. And so when you're already doing that, you don't have to try and find a purpose because you're already doing your purpose. You just got to scale it. And when you scale it up, that's that act of self transcendence where you become this puzzle piece that's fitting into a massive puzzle, right? So you change the world by becoming the best version of yourself. It's to a T. This shit's gonna change the world. Love it.
yeah, yeah, you know, I love when people start content and influence the world to their way to kind of spread their story. As I mentioned, we've had many other people on this podcast who have just had incredible stories. Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own book that they're writing of their life, and it's really really cool. I mean, if I could, I'd read all of them, but there's so many of us out there that are trying to excel and follow their passions and you know carry on with their lives in a positive direction. And there's a lot of people that kind of need to introduce themselves into that scene as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, to kind of change gears a little bit here, um, we mentioned a little bit motivation is a really key factor into starting. If you're motivated by someone, something, um, or even yourself by kind of realizing like, hey, I could change this if in my life. I'm wondering how do you stay motivated?
You don't. So motivation is an emotion, right? So it's a byproduct of a feeling. And feelings come and go. That's another universal law I'll talk about. It's called the law of rhythm, right? And so everything ebbs and flows. So you're going to feel motivated some days, and then you're going to feel like low and depressed. And so most people say they're depressed. It's like, no, you're not really that actually depressed. You're just on a depressed point in your little rhythm chart, right? So we'll feel sky high, and then the next week you could feel like crap. It happens all the time, and so that's why you want to have awareness of it. Um, but motivation, just forget about it. Like you do get more motivated the more disciplined you get. Disciplined is an act. Disciplined is a state of being, right? And so you want to become someone that's disciplined so the motivation resonates from you instead of at you, right? Because I mean, I'm more motivated now than ever because it's internally driven motivation. It's not this feeling that pops up. Like most people watch, here's what happens. Most people watch a motivational video, they'll watch one of my videos, like, man, you changed my life. Like, okay, let's see how you are after a week first, right? And so that feeling that they got from an external source is already gone. And so there it is. It's you're not lit up because it's not this internally driven thing. And so the only way to drive yourself from the inside is like, think of a lamp. You got to actually light it up. You got to put the kerosene in there, whatever type of lamp you're using. We can use a flashlight. We're in 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Whoa.
we chilling.
I think so. That was weird. I think
All right,
blacked out a
make
little
sure
bit, but
we're
it's
good.
fine. We're all good. I'll cut it out. But yeah, yeah. It's totally it's just kind of a certain way to just kind of drive yourself towards that. Discipline, like I said, is the hardest thing for me. And I'll find myself like trying to go through TikTok to find a motivational video, or listen to a podcast that might motivate me to stay motivated and stay driven. And it doesn't really work like that because I'll watch it and then the minute after I won't feel anything. And
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because motivation is always there. It's not always going to exist. And one day it's gonna go away unless you finally get yourself to a point where you can look over the mountain that you've climbed and realize, wow, I've done and accomplished all of these things. I'm almost there to where my achievable goal is or my long-term goal is. It will really kind of motivate you even more to push yourself to get there. And it's really interesting to see how people have their own mountain that they're climbing, their own situations, and their own drives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that mountain analogy. It's very true. I'd say like the best way to stay motivated, quote unquote, all the time is you need accountability, right? So it's like we all need a circle of people around us. And that's why the internet, first and foremost, isn't a place to consume, it's a place to connect. That's the whole point. And so, like, people ask me all the time, how do I network? How do I find people that I'm interested in? Do the exact same thing you did to me. Just shoot a DM, right? Like, give someone a compliment. Say, hey, a genuine compliment. Compliment. I love your content. It's inspiring. I'd love to see like a video on this. If you thought about doing this, blah blah blah. Like, just add value, right? And so it's like networking isn't this manipulative thing. It's just like you're being a good person. And you're being someone they'd want to be friends with. Um, and so you do that, you start having like a lot of my friends. Most of my best friends I met online, right? Because that's like how you can. There's been no other time in history where you can snipe someone of the same interest as you ever. It's like if you grow up in a little farm town and everyone around you is just dumb, you can go on Instagram and you can shoot a DM who has the exact same interests as you, and all of a sudden you can just become friends through the phone. So it's like you got this tool now where you can build an accountability group, and we every single person needs that. You're not gonna go very far alone. Like you can go far, but if you want to go the furthest, you're gonna be with other people.
Yeah, the internet and communication over the internet has been something that has excelled completely. You know, back hundreds of years ago, we never had internet. You know, people were just kind of talking to people that they could possibly find in their area. And now you have the whole world of people that you can talk with and interact with and find people that suit you, find people that have similar relations and similar goals with you.
Hmm.
So it's something really people have to use, but be wise with it because there's a lot of misleading information out there that could really change you in a way and kind of affect you. There's a lot of people giving really bad advice that I've seen. It's crazy.
It's,
Since we're on that, I mean, what do you see for the future with self-improvement, social media and that kind of realm?
I would say, with self improvement, there's gonna be more people who are documenting their journey because we're obviously getting into this like digital landscape of where identity online matters so much. So there's gonna be a lot of people who they may have a message you resonate with, but they haven't they haven't actually done anything. So you want to be very aware of like people who are giving advice, like what have they done, right? So it's like I have a verifiable business that I've been growing for like a long time at this point, and it's successful. And so it's like if I give advice on entrepreneurship, it's backed,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, yeah, the people that you talk to, what is actually backing what they say? Are they living that lifestyle? That's the one thing you do want to look at. And then I'd say like in terms of finding people you want to follow, look at the lifestyle, and if you want to emulate that, like I said, kind of just check it on the back and see if they're actually doing it, and just try and absorb their mindsets. Like we're entering this creator economy where it's not going to be like these top one, two, or three people. Everyone's going to have a voice. Everyone's going to have a brand. And so everyone's going to be following like multiple people that they resonate with on different things. So like never follow one person like to the end of their to the end of the earth fully. Like I even tell my followers, I'm like, yo, question what I say, because it's like I want you guys to be independent thinkers. You're not Mason. You'll never be Mason. It's impossible, right? I'm the only way. But you can absorb my thinking, and you can become Jackson, or you can become Timothy, or whoever the hell we're
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
right? And so it's like take everything they say and use it to make yourself, right? The best artists are copycats, but then they remix it.
Hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are just sticking with one person. One person that I will mention um, is 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 the man that took over the world. We all know
Yeah, we all
who.
know
Yeah, we
it's
all know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say his name. And
Mr. T.
yeah, but there's a lot of people that really follow it. And I have my own opinions. Everyone has his own their own opinions on him. For me, I thought he said a lot of great things, but he also said a lot of crazy things that I kind of took in a weird way.
Yeah.
But I'm not following to the end of the earth. I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not outside of Romania prison with posters and protesting. Let him out, let him out. No, I'm not doing that. I have different mentors that come into my life. I use information from others. One person I'm really using information is from. I just read their book is David Goggins. Uh,
Love God.
he is like I have never heard a story like his. It's crazy what he has done, and that person really kind of showed me like, wow, this person did this. I can do this too. And a lot of people need that motivation, need that kind of person to influence their life, and just take like this is the way I like to think about it is just take almost a piece of every person that you come across with. Um, you know, pick
You
something.
nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like each person you look up to, if you look closely, most people follow people and they don't know why because they don't have awareness. There is one single aspect in that person really highlighted that you see in yourself, right? So it's like the people I look up to, I see Bruce Lee,
Mm,
Conor McGregor, I see Trump, like these people there's certain aspects of them like the ability of Bruce Lee to embody a philosophy. I really resonate with that. The ability for McGregor to have this flow like magnetism and performance ability, right? So it's like there's different elements to each of these people that you look up to that you see inside yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't resonate with it. It's not possible. And so it's like if you follow one person to the end of the earth, what's happening is you're only idolizing that one aspect in yourself. And you're never going to be fulfilled. You're going to feel like a liar because it's not you. You're neglecting the rest of yourself that's inside. And so you take all these things and you mash them into one. And unfortunately, it happens a lot with the younger dudes today because there's so many boys that grow up with like non-masculine father figures, and they looked at people like Mr. T, and I mean, dude, there's so many kids. Nothing, not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's so many dudes randomly becoming, Islamic, and they don't even know why, right? So it's like
Yeah.
I have no issue if you do that, but it's like at least have a reason that you know why instead of someone else is telling you to do it, because you know what else happened there was in World War II in this little country called Germany. That belief was being pushed pretty hard, and people just accepted it, and look where that ended up. So it's like not comparing those two together, but it's the same point.
Yeah. Yeah, people will just kind of follow a message just to kind of fit in a way. Everyone's telling
Right,
them to do this and they're doing it, but they don't know why. And
right,
people really just realize, like, take it to themselves, take it into their brain and just say, why am I doing this exactly? How is this benefiting me? And am I just doing this just to fit in, or am I doing this to actually have a good cause? And there's, with the person that we're naming and many other people that are out there, they will do what they say immediately without any question, without any research, just because they said it. And people really need to do their own research before they get themselves trapped into something that they don't really want to do.
right. Yeah, I mean, you question everything, right? Be a free thinker, and
Mhm.
it's like funny at the end of the day how it all first of all comes back to just questioning what you eat. It's like that's really the whole like gateway. Um,
Yeah.
and it's this weird evolution. I don't know how it happened like that, but I mean I do. But yeah, just question every single thing and like start with the things that are most accessible to you, which is like your food and your living patterns and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the best things that you could possibly change. Some of those are the hardest to change, but they're
Yeah.
the most accessible things to change. For me, like I mentioned, I have my own challenges, my own mountains to climb in a way. One of those is social interactions. I'll get super anxious in just regular social interactions, and I'm trying to kind of adjust myself to it. But something I'm trying to kind of introduce myself into is that some things that in maybe socially or just anything else are unchangeable. Some things you cannot change; they're
Well,
just happening. But go
let
ahead.
me cut you off here.
Go ahead.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
fix. We're gonna fix this. So what was the language you said?
What language? What do you mean?
Live coaching session right now.
Oh no. Okay. What did I
What did what
say?
did
Oh no.
what did you what did you say? What did you say about your social interactions
I said some things you can't change.
before that? The very beginning.
I said that I'm a socially anxious person.
Exactly.
Mm. Oh,
What
I
did you
see.
just
I think I
what
see
did you
what you're saying.
you just gave yourself a box.
Yeah, you're right. It's true.
Okay? So
It's
yeah,
true.
so this language that you tell yourself, what if instead of that, what if it was I have been a socially anxious person in the past.
Yeah.
You're not right now. I mean, us conversing, are you socially anxious?
No.
You're doing great,
It's good.
right? So it's like you just proved yourself wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're
That's
not
true.
you're not a socially anxious person.
Yeah. I think I just tell myself that. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I think I just
You have told yourself that.
yes, yes. I've just kind of planted that in my brain when it doesn't really need to be there, and when it's not even true. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so what you do, you take everything you don't want and you put it in a past tense,
Mm,
right? Because it happened. You don't have to lie about that. But right at this very moment, is Jackson a socially anxious person?
no.
No, this is real. This is authentic. Like you're not. Neither of us are trying or putting on a face. And
Yeah,
so you see how changing the language changes your entire perception.
yeah,
There's this word. Have you heard the word abracadabra?
yeah.
You know what it means?
It's like a magic thing.
It's magic. It's
Yeah.
ancient Aramaic for with my word I create.
Hmm.
So when you say abracadabra, it's basically saying every word we speak creates and manifests. You know what manifest is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Manifest means like kind of dominating in a way, I would say, or kind of like over controlling in a way.
So manifest. We can break. I took this Latin roots class because I was in this like gifted program in eighth grade. But
Hmm.
mani is hand.
Hmm.
Fest is to create.
Huh.
So manifest. What does that mean?
Manifest is God, my brain is stopping. Say it again. Say it
Mani
again.
is hand.
Hand, and then it's create, hand create.
So we create with our hands.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
it's like abracadabra. I'm creating with my hands. My words I create. I create with my hands. Right. Your words that you say
Oh.
will come into the physical reality.
Hmm. I like
So
that.
every single thing you're saying, the story you tell yourself is manifesting
Yeah.
everything
Wow.
because you're writing a script in your head and you're playing this movie out. That's why I say the inner and outer script.
Wow. I
Yeah.
like that makes total sense. I
Hmm.
I like that. You just taught me a whole new perspective here. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
That's
magic of it, my man. That's what eating clean will do.
yeah. Yeah, I'm lost for words.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hope a lot of people also took that as advice, are you putting something into kind of your own reality or in your own script as well? Uh, but yeah, I mean, another thing to mention, like I mentioned, I have faced social stuff in the past, and
Hmm.
and many other people are facing other situations in the past, and you can make that into, you can use that to kind of realize like that's who I used to be, and this
Hmm.
is me now. This is who I am today, and uh, yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I like that.
Remember this one line.
Hmm.
A change of focus is a change of destiny.
Hmm.
All right. So if you focus on the past and what you don't want, what are you going to get more of in your destiny?
Hmm.
More of what you don't want. Right. So if you focus on what you do want, the things you are doing, such as I am becoming better in social situations, I am overcoming anxiety that was in the past. What do you continue to look for? That. You prove it right. And it's this whole, it's not even metaphysics. We have this thing called the reticular activating system in our brain. I call it the seek and destroy mode. Basically, it's this thing in our mind that seeks out in our reality, it's in our subconscious, 95% of our thinking. This thing seeks out in our reality things to prove our beliefs about ourself and our self perception true, right? And so, have you also heard gut thinking? You think with your gut.
Yeah.
Okay, I made a video on this, but we have this thing called the solar plexus. It's our energy center of the body. It's connected to our subconscious mind, and it's located in our gut. 95% of our thinking's here. Connects up to our brain through what's called the vagus nerve, right? And so this is where your mind and your body connect. And so when you pollute your gut, you pollute the solar plexus, which is 95% of your brain or your thinking. And so that's why when you eat clean, you clear up your thinking. You allow yourself to feel these intuitive urges. You get in tune with your awareness. You start to pick up on the energy, right? And it's like all this stuff goes together. It's this beautiful work of art that can only be created by some creator out there. I mean, it really is a miracle. Um, but yeah, man, it's like awareness of everything is just going to change your life. The words you speak, what you consume, what you watch, who you're around, all these things will determine you. Your environment is you. So that's really it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start eating more clean. I'm eating fairly clean nowadays because I'm on a bulk. I'm trying to get bigger, and like, I'm trying to eat fish, chicken, all that. Um,
Yeah,
much better than what I used to do. But
yeah.
I could always be a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, definitely eating healthy is something everyone should be trying to do completely.
I mean, if you're doing it, you're doing great. I mean, you can
Mhm.
always DM me about that too. But it's like more than anything, you just want to cut out synthetic ingredients, artificial sweeteners, the seed oils, all that stuff. Like anything synthetic, anything not natural, right? Like you know what intuitively what natural is. If you look at beef and it has like 60 ingredients, dude, that thing was made in a Chinese lab. Like
Mhm.
that is not real, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you want to just beef on it, ideally like pasture raised, grass fed. And it's like people will say, oh, it's too expensive. Okay, well, you know what else is expensive is medication and going to a doctor.
Yeah.
So you make the decision. And also it's a high ROI activity because your brain is going to think better and you'll make better business decisions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it changes your mental stability completely. When you engage in not only eating healthy but just good habits in general. If you're doing something that's a good habit that's productive and will help you beneficially health-wise and everything, you're going to feel better. It's like common science. It's just regular science. It's like, oh, if I do this good thing, a good thing's gonna happen. If I do this bad thing, then a bad thing's gonna happen. Stuff like that. For me, when I was sick a couple days ago, I just laid in bed. I wanted to do stuff like I wish I could go to the gym right now, but I can't. All my gains are gonna go away. But it it kind of stops you and I would just sit there watching movies and playing games. And now that I'm out, I'm not sick anymore. I realize like I could have been reading, I could have been watching something educational, I could have been doing all these other productive things while I was resting. And
100%. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, what you said there is another universal law. Every aspect of our life is riding a wave of some universal law, and most people are just completely unconscious of it. Like you said, this happens, this happens. It's called the law of cause and effect, right? And so it's like everything you do has some effect from it.
yeah,
And so if you become conscious of that, it's like, well, me drinking water right now, you think it's small, but you know what? I'm making my body healthier, and I may be giving myself another year of life,
yeah.
right? If you do that every single day, right? And so it's these small little things we do, they add up. They change the entire universe. It's
Mhm.
like one thought will change your life and the lives of other people around you.
Yeah. I still have this whole gallon to drink. This is terrible. I have a whole thing. I've not drinking it at all today. I have to chug that thing today, but yeah, yeah. It's good habits will really benefit you and just kind of change. I wouldn't say do like 7 good habits at the same time. As we mentioned, get into it slowly,
Mm-hmm.
progressively, but don't just jump into it immediately.
Yeah, I would say master three.
Master. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I would choose like your fundamental ones that align to everything and just master those. And so for me, that's mastering my nutrition, that's mastering my fitness, and that's mastering the management of my mind,
Yeah.
which is through like meditation and just all that stuff. And so that's it because that's all we can control at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, anyways, Mason, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on today. I want to let you deliver a final message. If you want to shout out your TikTok and so on, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, so you guys can follow me at Mason Kuhr, MasonKuhr, everywhere. Subscribe to the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. If you want to check out my brand, this horse behind me, it's called the Stampede Network. You can go on thestampedenetwork.com. Um, if you want to, check something out while you're there, use code FIRST10 for a little discount. But yeah, if you guys resonate with my mission, if you resonate with my message, all that stuff, if you're ready to take yourself to the next level, you can always shoot me a DM. I answer all those, so I have no issue helping you get on the right path. So that's all I got to say. Make sure you eat clean.
Yeah. Eat clean, everyone. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next time. We have another episode coming this weekend, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.